Hey, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are cracking open the user manual for the most complex, most powerful tool you will ever own, your brain.
I mean, really think about that. You've got this machine that can do almost anything, create art, solve impossible problems, you name it, but you have no idea how to use it. Well, guess what? That supercomputer is sitting right between your ears, and this right here, this is the missing manual you've been waiting for.
All right, let's get into it. But before we can install any powerful new software, we gotta clear out some of the old viruses, a few really common misunderstandings about how this thing actually works.
Okay, let's just tear these myths apart right now. First off, that idea that you only use 10% of your brain, total myth. You use pretty much all of it all the time, even when you're fast asleep. And the idea that your brain is fixed once you're an adult? Nope, you can grow new brain cells your entire life. And the whole left brain, right brain thing, it's a massive oversimplification. Any truly complex task, whether it's logic or creativity, needs both sides firing together as a team.
So, now that we've cleared the air, we can get to the single most important, most empowering idea about your brain's potential. And honestly, this is a total game changer. The fancy scientific term for it is neuroplasticity. I know, it sounds a little intimidating, but the idea behind it is incredibly simple and, frankly, revolutionary. It just means that your brain can physically change itself. It can rewire and reorganize based on what you do, what you learn, and what you experience.
Let's just forget that big science word for a second. Think about it like this. Your brain isn't some finished statue carved in stone, unable to change. Not at all. It's more like a giant tub of Play-Doh. And you're the sculptor. Every single day, you are physically shaping it.
So how does this sculpting actually happen? Well, when you learn something new, your brain cells, your neurons, form a new connection. It's like a tiny little dirt path in a forest. The more you practice, the more that path gets worn in, until eventually it's a paved, 6-lane neural superhighway. It all comes down to a simple, beautiful rule. Neurons that fire together, wire together. And here's the kicker. This means every single thought you have, every word you speak, every action you take, it's a physical act of brain sculpture. You're doing it right now.
Okay. So now we know we can physically change our own brains. That's huge. So let's look at the big battle that's constantly going on inside our heads. This tug of war between our ancient emotional side and our modern rational mind.
A great way to think about this is that you've got two main players in your head. First, there's the elephant. This is your emotional brain. It's incredibly powerful. It's super fast, totally automatic. Then, perched on top, you have the writer. This is your rational brain, the thinking, planning CEO. The writer is smart, but it's slow, and it gets tired really easily. Now, when everything's calm, the writer can steer the elephant. But what happens when things get a little chaotic?
Yeah, what happens when something spooks that massive, powerful elephant? When it gets scared or angry and just decides to bolt, with or without the rider's permission?
This is what's known as an amygdala hijack. It all starts when your brain senses a threat. And we're not talking about a saber-toothed tiger anymore. It could be something as simple as a critical email from your boss. Instantly, the elephant, your emotional center, the amygdala, takes complete control and stampedes. And in that moment, your rational writer, it gets knocked clean off. It goes completely offline. This is that moment you send an email or say something you regret almost immediately.
But here's the good news. You can get the writer back in the saddle. It's called the mindful pause. The second you feel it happening, your heart starts racing, your muscles get tight, the first step is just to notice. Just recognize, okay, the elephant is running. Then, step 2, breathe. Just one slow, deep breath. That simple act sends a signal of safety to your brain, and that brings your writer back online, which lets you get to step 3, choose. You can now ask yourself, how do I actually want to respond? And just like that, you've taken your power back.
So, we know our brain is changeable, and we have a strategy to manage its emotional outbursts. Now, let's get practical. Let's install some new software, a toolkit of proven techniques to actively upgrade your brain's performance.
Forget about rereading your notes 100 times. Here are 3 ways to learn that actually work with your brain's design. First is active recall. This is all about pulling information out of your brain, not just cramming it in. Then there's spaced repetition. It just means you review things at longer and longer intervals. It's way more effective. And finally, chunking. This is just breaking down big pieces of info into smaller, bite-sized groups. It's exactly why we remember a phone number as 3 chunks, not 10 random digits.
I absolutely love this quote because it makes active recall so obvious. Just rereading your notes, that's like walking into a gym and just staring at the weights. Active recall is actually picking them up and doing the reps. It's the only way you build that mental muscle. So next time you finish a chapter, close the book and try to explain the main ideas out loud to yourself. That's the real workout.
And of course, none of those cool techniques will work if the foundation is shaky. These three things right here are the absolute non-negotiables for your brain health. Sleep isn't a luxury. It's literally your brain's janitorial service, cleaning out toxins. Nutrition is the fuel. Stuff like omega-3s and berries are premium-grade fuel. And aerobic exercise? Think of it like miracle grow for your brain cells. It's that powerful.
So all these tools are amazing for sculpting our own minds, for making ourselves better. But here's the most incredible part of all. This work doesn't just stop with you. Every positive change you make creates a ripple that goes out into the world. This is such a critical shift in perspective. We tend to think of self-improvement as this selfish solo mission, but it's not. The reality is, every time you grow, every time you make a positive change, you become a new signal, a new cue for everyone around you. Your personal growth is actually the seed for the growth of your entire community.
Let me show you how this regenerative loop works in real life. Let's say you decide to start a little garden on your balcony. Your reward is you get fresh, amazing food. But the ripple starts when your neighbor sees your garden. For them, that's a new cue. They see it's possible. They get curious, ask you how you did it, and maybe they start their own. And just like that, your one small action has sparked a tiny community of gardeners. That's the ripple effect.
And this really brings our whole journey together, doesn't it? It means that when you learn to tend to the garden of your own mind, when you pull out the weeds of old myths and plant new seeds of knowledge, you're also becoming a better caretaker of that bigger garden that we all share. The skills are exactly the same.
So as we wrap this up, the power is truly in your hands now. You have the user manual, you've got the tools, you understand you're the sculptor with the Play-Doh, and you're the gardener tending the soil. So the only real question left is, what will you choose to grow?